Good morning, Suman and Counselor Thompson.
Good morning.
Very good morning.
Good morning, Director Zhao. Can we test your connection? Good morning, Director Zhao. Can you hear us?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our amazing staff who's here. Are we good to go?
Would members participating online please kindly turn their cameras on to be counted for quorum?
Okay, good morning. My name is Councilor Chris Moyes. I'm the Chair of the Board of Health. The Board Secretary has confirmed that we have quorum, so I'll call meeting number 22 of the Board of Health to order. And again, welcome to everyone who's watching in the room and online. Today's meeting is being held by video conference and in person at City Hall in Committee Room number 1. Because we're meeting in person and remotely, we ask everyone for their patience with any delays and technical issues. If you're registered to speak at today's meeting, please listen for me to call your name. I will call speakers in the order they appear on the list. The list of speakers can be viewed online by visiting the Board of Health page at toronto.ca/council and clicking the speakers box for today's meeting. The Board Secretary has provided all agenda materials on toronto.ca/council and via CMP, the clerk's meeting portal. Directors, please keep your mic muted unless you wish to question staff or speak to an item, and ensure that your video is turned on. As part of each agenda item, I will ask directors to raise their hand or unmute their mic if they wish to question staff or speak. I will then create a speakers list and will call on directors when it is their turn to speak. When voting on an item or motion, I ask that directors ensure they turn on their video and raise their hand to indicate their vote. Directors, I want to remind you that you must submit and approve your motion by email. Staff are available at boh@toronto.ca to help with motions. The Board of Health acknowledges that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. The City of Toronto acknowledges all treaty peoples, including those who came here as settlers, as migrants either in this generation or in generations past, and those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. We pay tribute to those ancestors of African origin and descent. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? If you have an interest, please raise your hand or unmute your mic and indicate the item number and the nature of the interest. Seeing none in the room or online, we need a motion to confirm the minutes from our last board meeting on January 20th, 2025. Deputy Mayor, Councilor Bravo, all those in favor, opposed, carried. So good morning, everyone, and happy Black History Month, happy African Heritage Month. We have a relatively light agenda before us today. Originally scheduled for today was the board's Indigenous Cultural Competency Training. Unfortunately, due to the extenuating circumstances, our facilitator is unable to be here with us today. But rest assured that receiving this training remains a priority, and we will work to reschedule it. Also to be considered at a later date is an update on Toronto's Homelessness and Addiction Recovery Hub. With that, I will pass it to Dr. Lamptey for any remarks you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And good morning, everyone. As you know, as the chair mentioned, we had planned for today's meeting to include an Indigenous cultural safety training session that was specifically curated for this Board of Health. This was set to focus on the role of the board in addressing health inequities for the urban Indigenous community, and to include themes such as understanding colonization as an ongoing process, how relationships remain strained at the governance, community, and individual levels, and how to learn from Indigenous research methodologies to reframe working relationships with Indigenous communities today. This was the first formally scheduled session for this training to take place with this iteration of the Board of Health, and we were very much looking forward to learning from a highly skilled Indigenous facilitator. Their academic and research background, understanding of Toronto Public Health's mandate, and years of professional lived experience make them uniquely positioned to deliver such training for the Board of Health. After much consideration, we at Toronto Public Health felt it best to postpone this training due to the unforeseen circumstances, and rather than find a last-minute replacement, we felt that we would make every effort to reschedule this training with the original facilitator or one with an equivalent level of proficiency and background to meet the standard of Indigenous cultural safety we hope to deliver. This will ensure the board receives the highest quality training to enrich their understanding of the Toronto urban Indigenous landscape and community. Indigenous cultural safety training can equip the Board of Health with the knowledge and cultural competency required to effectively represent and advocate for the health and well-being of the urban Indigenous community. And I just want to say that I personally am holding this facilitator in my thoughts and mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lamptey. Moving on. So we do have one item on the agenda. It's really just a technical amendment. I did convey to the clerks, to the directors, to Clef State Online to do this, but I'm happy that you're here today. The first item is item HL 22.1, reopening item HL 21.3, 2025 Board of Health Committees and Appointments. I will move this item. Oh, sorry, I need a motion to reopen. Councillor Chang, all those in favor, opposed, carried. So now I will move the item.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will move this item to reopen item HL 21.3. That's what I'm doing. Give me a second. Okay. I'm going to move a motion to adopt the recommendations. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And I think that concludes our meeting, right? Oh, there's a new item. Sorry, one moment. Yeah, as I mentioned in my remarks earlier, we actually deferring that item to another meeting for a special meeting, perhaps around April or so. Okay, so that was our item. Yes, that's it. As I mentioned, it's going to be a very short meeting today. I really appreciate staff and everyone here. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.